My dear friend, it feels a long time since I last wrote. So much has happened and autumn is now in full swing. The days are punctuated by quiet ambles in the nearby deer park, the crackle of the first fires in our kitchen hearth, and the ritual setting out of the sherry bottle after the shutters are closed to the night cold. But it is not country life I wanted to write to you about today, as a few weeks ago, just before my birthday, I received a last-minute invitation to spend a week in London. It was so much fun to be back in the city again, and I wanted to tell you all my adventures. A friend I've known since we were both toddlers invited me and my mum to flat and cat sit for her as she jetted off for an exotic and well-deserved beach holiday. I'm a real animal person, and as we can't have pets in our rented house, it was a treat for me to have some surrogate pets for a week. I am now officially known as Auntie Miranda to Leo and Simba, the sweetest ragdoll cats I've ever met. Simba was the youngest, still rather kittenish, with a mischievous side to his nature. He loved to play, but then would often struggle to keep his eyes open and would snuggle up next to me on the bed most nights. Leo, the eldest, was more sedate, but also very affectionate, intelligent, and inquisitive. Most mornings we woke up early and spent time with the cats before heading out at noon into the hustle and bustle of London. It was exciting to be back in the city again, although I noticed the noise and dirt more than ever, and I realised how much I'd grown to appreciate the gentle pace of country life. Still, as Dr. Johnson would say, when a man is tired of London, he is tired of life. And London continues to be a place that captivates and inspires me, so I was happy to be back on its well-remembered streets. We were staying near Battersea Park and could walk through the park and cross the Thames into Chelsea. The leafy, calm streets of this elegant district of London are perfect for autumnal strolls, and Chelsea has been a favourite haunt of mine for many years. It is home to the Saatchi Gallery, the Carlyle House and the Chelsea Physic Garden, as well as charming cafes and one of my most adored bookshops, John Sandow Books. Knowing me, you won't be at all surprised that most of my time in London was spent browsing and spending my birthday money in bookshops, with the odd break for tea and cake in between. You always ask me which bookshops I most recommend, and I do think that one of the most special things about London is its many incredible bookshops. So in this letter, I'll take you on a little bookshop tour of the city. John Sandow is one of the best, possibly the best bookshop for new books, and I could spend hours lost in its higgledy-piggledy bookshelves. The bookshop was first opened by John Sandow and Felicity Gwynne, who was the sister of Elizabeth David. Books stagger in piles on the tables, windowsills and floor. Impossible for any true bibliophile to resist. And I always manage to find something to add to my own overstuffed shelves at home. After Chelsea, the next district I made a beeline for was Covent Garden and nearby Charing Cross Road, on the hunt for beautiful stationery and second-hand books. Choosing Keeping right by Seven Dials and Covent Garden is heaven on earth for any fellow stationery lovers. I get all my best notebooks and diaries from here. But ordering online just isn't the same as an in-person browse, so I was thrilled to pick up some new cards and notebooks. After browsing for ages and spending too much of my London allowance, Mum and I set off for Charing Cross Road and Cecil Court, home to many of London's best second-hand bookshops. Have you read Virginia Woolf's essay, Street Haunting, on exploring London by foot in the winter? I love her description of browsing in a second-hand bookshop. Books are everywhere, she writes, and always the same sense of adventure fills us. Second-hand books are wild books, homeless books. They have come together in vast flocks of variegated feather and have a charm which the domesticated volumes of the library lack. Besides, in this random, miscellaneous company, we may rub against some complete stranger who will, with luck, turn into the best friend we have in the world. The idea of books as friends is echoed in Foyle's Bookshop on the Charing Cross Road, with its greeting, "Welcome book lover, you are among friends." Isn't that a wonderful slogan for a bookshop? Foyle's was a favourite meeting place for my Bloomsbury student days, and I still love its cafe and the sheer volume of books for sale. My other favourite district for book shopping in London is Mayfair, home to Hayward Hill, famous for its elite clientele and for once being the workplace of Nancy Mitford. You know my fondness for The Pursuit of Love and many of her other novels too. A short walk from Hayward Hill is Hatchards, which dates from 1797 and is London's oldest bookshop, so it's certainly a must visit, and it's conveniently located next door to Fortnum and Mason, which is always worth a browse. I can spend endless hours in Hatchards, as it has several floors full of books, both antiquarian and new. It's also worth stopping by the big Waterstones Piccadilly branch on your way to Daunt Bookshop in Marylebone, another of my regular London haunts. By this point, you'd probably be gasping for a cup of tea, in which case head to the Wallace Collection. This lovely free entry museum is only a few streets away from Daunt, and it has a marvellous cafe. It's certainly worth touring the museum itself too, as it has the most exquisitely decorated rooms with an outstanding collection of furniture, paintings and porcelain. And where to next? Well, Chiswick is another favourite London neighbourhood of mine, and it looks beautiful in the autumn, with red vines growing over old walls and dramatic pink and orange sunsets over the Thames. There's also a lovely second-hand bookshop on Chiswick High Street, and you must go if you're ever in the area. It's called Foster Books, and I love its dark green facade and its collection of vintage children's books in particular. This time I managed to find a Lorna Hill title I was missing, Dancer in the Wings, so you can imagine how happy I was. It felt strange to be back in London in some ways, encountering the ghost of my former self around so many corners. I had so many happy years in this city, but I have to acknowledge that my life has changed and I've moved on. I couldn't imagine living anywhere but the countryside now. It would be hard to do without the beauty and peace that are the backdrop to my days in Yorkshire. But of course, London is marvellous to visit, and of course I'll go back. Have I inspired you to visit its bookshops at least? I hope so, and give them a hello from me when you go. All my love, Miranda.